Hey now! Hi everybody, Gribbin here. Back again with another tutorial for the hardest nights of FNAF on console. This time it's Golden Freddy mode and sister location. So without delay, let's jump into the complete breakdown. First, let's talk about expectations. If you've never done this before, you're going to fail over and over at this before you can build up the muscle memory and staying in a rhythm. If you're looking for a way to cheese this, you can't. So as cliche as it sounds, practice makes perfect. This requires multitasking and attention to detail at every moment. Now that you know that it's okay to fail, let's move on. Controller settings. You need to turn your dead zone all the way up and your left stick all the way down. I would put your right stick right around this area. If you don't know why you do this, when you're inside the camera system moving between camera to camera, your cursor also moves inside the office as well. To limit this, you turn down your left stick all the way since you won't be moving inside the office at all. This does not affect the speed of how quickly you can switch between cameras. Just realize this does not completely stop the cursor from moving inside the office, although it does make it more manageable. To compensate this, you crank up the dead zone to help you boop on Bonnet Snoot once the cursor starts wandering around the office. Inside the office, you want to put your cursor in between the fan and the Golden Freddy plushie. This gives you the best view of seeing Yendo appear while staying on top of all of Bonnet's spawn points. Do not intentionally move it from this spot. This really gives you a better idea where your cursor is at all times once the mini-arenas start blocking your view, as part of the mini-arena's dress is almost see-through. You can also see the bottom of the cursor peeking out from behind the dress when it gets closer to the Freddy plushie. You will need to readjust your cursor from time to time once you've been playing around in the camera system for a while. This is the only time you move the cursor in the office. Use your right stick to do this. The reason why you use the right stick in this situation to readjust is because even though your cursor still moves with your left stick, it only moves in 3 directions: down, left, and up. I can't explain why, but here we are. Probably a good time to mention the jank mechanic that probably should have been removed on the console version: closing the doors with the X button. If you're in the general area, you can close the closest door to you with hitting the X button. This was useful when entered, but it plagues 1020 mode. Even though your dead zone is cranked all the way up, there's still times when the door takes priority over booping Bonnet's Snoot, even if Bonnet's nose is in the dead zone area. If you miss Bonnet's nose, there's no chance of catching up to her with your cursors fixed the way they are. It sucks, but accept the death and move on. Next, let's go over the animatronics from least deadly to the most hazardous. This is the best time to mention headphones help tremendously and are almost necessary for having the best outcome of conserving even the smallest amount of power. I'm also going to be covering some basics as well, so if you think you already know all of this, still take a listen because I might teach you something new and a better way to attack. Mini arenas too. They block your view. They're unavoidable. Moving on. Ballora. This is where your headphones become essential. You'll most of the time always hear Ballora's music playing. However, when she's close, the music becomes louder. The more you practice, the more you'll be able to identify when the best time to shut the door is right before the music hits its loudest point, because this is when she's going to attack. The headphones also help you identify when she's away from the door and the best time to open it. Now think of the room that you're sitting in as a giant square. Ballora will pick a side and the music will begin playing on that side. As she steps closer, the music will get louder. Right before the music hits its loudest point, you close the door. She'll be right around here. As the music continues to dominate your chosen ear, think of her moving behind you outside of the office you're sitting in. After a while, you'll start to notice her music playing in the other ear. She's right around here and away from your door. It's time to open it back up because after this moment when you hear her in your other ear, she starts to fade away. With the headphones, this is extremely noticeable when she starts to play her music in your other ear. Once you recognize this, Ballora's threat is almost non-existent. One final note on Ballora: when she attacks on the left side, her music seems a little bit louder than when she does when she attacks on the right, so learning what the music sounds like right before its loudest point will be a learning experience. Lolbit. Lolbit is easily manageable, but if you don't handle him right away, it can throw your rhythm off and cause you a death. However, once you get quicker at hitting the R3 and L3 buttons, Lolbit becomes a weaker threat. For those who need it explained, to get rid of Lolbit, push the left and the right stick in as if they were buttons. First the left stick, then the right stick, and then the left stick again. Don't try to spell LOL on this keypad, it's useless. You can also hit the L3 and R3 buttons inside the camera system. Even with Lolbit on your screen, you can still camera flip if you need to yeet Yendo out of your office, but you do have a chance of missing a boot from Bonnet. You also can't operate the doors with Lolbit on your screen. But Yendo in this instance takes priority over Lolbit, so it's a risk you're gonna have to take. Electrobab and Mini-Renas. Electrobab and Mini-Renas come as a set, as their difficulty are pretty much equal since they spawn at the same time. These are not hard to manage. Mini-Renas will always be in camera 6, and Electrobab will always be in either cameras 3 or 4, and will always be on the opposite side of Funtime Freddy. If Funtime Freddy is in 3, Electrobab is in 4. If Freddy is in 4, Electrobab will be in 3. Mini-Renas drain oxygen, and Electrobab drains power. These sound dangerous, but do not cause immediate death, so if you have more pressing issues, it's okay to let them do their thing for a couple seconds, but don't let them at it for too long. The only time they can throw you off is when you're quickly camera swapping and you accidentally control shock the side that Freddy is on, with Electrobab still being active. This throws off the rhythm, but you can easily get back into it. First, get rid of Electrobab promptly. Now to get yourself back in the rhythm, Mini-Renas will spawn first and start taking out your oxygen. Let them at it for a while until Electrobab spawns again, and then get rid of them at the same time. You're now back in rhythm. The more you practice, the more you're going to be flying through these cameras getting rid of Electrobab and Mini-Renas. However, make it a rule of thumb once you're done to put the cursor back on Funtime Foxy to slow progression with camera flipping. Bidybab. Bidybab can be a bit of a struggle at times. 3 different audio cues play for Biddy. I don't want to play hide and seek. They'll be in the furthest position of the vent. I'm going to find a way inside. Bidybab is in the middle of the vent. Then comes the vent shuffling. At this point, Biddy is staring at you and ready to eat your face. This is the moment where you have a few options. If you have a moment in the office where nothing is pressing, you can actually let Bidybab sit in this position for a few moments. When pulling the vent door down at the right time, Bidybab will instantly hit, letting you reopen the vent immediately, saving some power. Time to mention you can actually function the office doors while inside the camera system as well with your directional arrows. However, if Bidybab attacks and you have to pull up your cameras, I highly suggest shutting the vent door first before pulling up the camera systems. I've let Bidybab sit there and then shut the door while inside the camera systems, and I've been killed multiple times even though the door was closed. I don't know if this is a glitch or by design, but as a rule of thumb, if Bidybab is in the vent, shut it before operating cameras. Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon. Funtime Freddy is not hard in general, but at first staying on top of which side of the room he's on is going to feel impossible with everything else being thrown at you, but he gets easier to manage with practice. Again, headphones really help here. You'll hear shuffling in your ear when Funtime Freddy moves from side to side, and he has a stupid amount of dialogue, but the only 2 pieces of dialogue you need to worry about are "Hey Bon Bon, go get him," and "Get ready for a surprise." "Hey Bon Bon, go get him" means he's going to attack on the side that he's originally on. "Get ready for a surprise," Bon Bon is going to attack from the opposite side. A strat as old as 1020 and sister location itself say out loud what side of the room that you hear Freddy run to. Electrobab can also be used as a reminder, as he will always be on the opposite side of Freddy. If you can't remember what you said out loud, try to remember the last place that you shocked Electrobab, as they tend to attack more times than Freddy does. As you get more comfortable, remember if you're inside the camera system and he attacks, you can shut the doors. You don't have to shut them from the office. Funtime Foxy. Now, Funtime Foxy in general isn't dangerous, however what Foxy triggers is. You have to camera flip Foxy to stall progress. With each camera flip, there's a high chance you'll spawn Yendo or Bonnet or both. At first, I tried to ignore Foxy as much as possible to keep Yendo and Bonnet spawns at bay, which actually helped me build an internal timer for predicting Foxy attacks. However, with each door knock, Foxy will drain a small amount of power. I don't know the specific amount, so let's just round up to 1% every door hit. A few door hits are completely fine, but don't let them stack up more than 4 or 5 just to stay safe. Foxy has 5 phases inside the camera. The curtain completely closed. Good, stay in there. The creepy peek. Stepping outside of the curtain. Mombot Dino Nuggies very excite face. And completely missing. When checking on Foxy and they're missing from the camera, do not panic. They still have to make their way to the office. You have a few moments before they reach the door. As like Biddy Bab, Funtime Foxy also has a sweet spot. When closing the door at the right time, they will do an insta-hit and you can open the door immediately, but don't wait too long. Yendo. Yendo is a ruthless piece of garbage and is more than likely going to lead to a lot of your deaths. Yendo drains your oxygen insanely fast and almost always spawns with a camera flip. What I trained myself to do is always do 2 quick camera flips in succession. However, this at times can be very dangerous because camera flips too quickly can also not have him despawn all the way, so be careful. Yendo can kill you when your oxygen drains 50% at a time when he's in the office, so don't let him sit in the office for too long because 50% accumulates very quickly. I'm going to be honest, I would sometimes panic flip to the point where he would spawn just so I can get rid of him. So in a sense, panic flipping helps with keeping on top of him and stalling Foxy's progression. However, with every camera flip, it has a chance of spawning the most dangerous animatronic of the night, Bonnet. Bonnet is going to try your patience, and if you're not dying to Yendo, you're dying to Bonnet. As I mentioned before about door priority, even though Bonnet's nose is in the cranked up dead zone, you still have a chance to miss. It happens, and you're going to get frustrated about it, but brush it off and try again. Do not try to chase her down, it's pointless. If you keep the cursor where I mentioned before, you will learn all of Bonnet's spawn points. Off the screen, which takes her a while to get to your cursor, and to the right of the TVs. Bonnet also has a sound cue of a cutesy little laugh, so if you don't see her right away, she's coming. Expect a Bonnet attack every time you camera flip, then it's a relaxing feeling when you actually don't have one. Now some final tips. If you're attacked by Funtime Freddy and Biddy Bab at the same time, but you only hear one knock, wait until you hear Funtime Freddy to run to confirm who hit first. There's no way to decipher between who hit first other than this because both of the door knocks sound the same. If starting off 1020 mode seems overwhelming, there is always the slow progressional aspect of easy, normal, hard, and very hard. Personally, I went in as trial by fire. I threw myself in on the hardest difficulty and just progressively got better over time, but this may not be for everyone. Also know when to walk away. There is such things as diminishing returns and burnout. The more time that you play it once, you actually just become progressively worse at it, and you may get to the point where you say screw it all together. Put it down. Go take a breather. When you come back after a fresh mind, you'll see just how much better you've become. Now for perspective, I dabbled here and there in 1020 since the patch came out in July on PS4, never expecting to beat it. But this week I really pushed just to see if the PS4 version is actually doable, and I'm happy to say that it is. I started on a Sunday, I beat it on a Friday. After sinking about 30 hours into it total, I did it and you can too. One final thing, there is no Springtrap cutscene at the end of the game, I'm sorry to announce. It's almost like ClickTeam anticipated people not actually beating it, although I did get my gold participation trophy for how buggy it is, so I guess there's that. Now I provided the successful run where I show everything that I mentioned before. I wish all of you the best of luck.
Well, hello again! Are you ready to relax now? Hey, boy, boy! Now get at him! Let's not keep us waiting!
I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Also join the community. I'll leave links in the description on how you can do that. I have a FNAF tips and tricks playlist. If you're having any trouble with FNAF, especially related to console, be sure to check that out. And if the video that you need isn't in there, give me a shout out in the comments. I'll be sure to help you out. Also be sure to check out the links. If you've never seen me on Twitch, I now launched my YouTube archive channel with all of my old streams. But until the next video, or the next stream, my friends, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Bye-bye.